Now, in our next story, we meet another group sharing their beliefs in their culture in a surprising and peaceful location in Batesville.
I've been coming to Magnolia Grove Monastery since 2011. My sister signed up to come to the Thich Nhat Hanh retreat in 2011, and my mother called panicky and she said, "Your sister's trying to go to a Buddhist retreat. You have to call her and you have to get her to not go." And so I called my sister and she told me about a day of mindfulness and invited me to come to the retreat, just hear Thich Nhat Hanh speak. It was the first big retreat that he had here at Magnolia Grove. And so I came to the day of mindfulness, and they had a big tent set up in the back where the meditation hall is now. And everything that he said was so interesting, and it was so insightful.
We know that a healing environment is very important for all of us. That is why it's very important to create a healing environment. When you build a sangha, when you build a practice center, you create such a place.
I've been coming to Magnolia Grove Monastery for about 8 years now, often coming to retreats. Instead of going to Disneyland like some people do for their holidays, I like to come here. It gives me peace, it helps straighten my life. The teacher, the principal teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, he's a scholar. He speaks 7 languages, he's written many books, and he was involved in the peace movement in Vietnam. And he was a friend of Martin Luther King.
We have this beautiful statue of our teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, and Dr. King, because of the deep, meaningful, and impactful relationship that the two of them had. And they're standing there holding a scroll that says, "Beloved community." To build a sangha or to build a beloved community is the most noble task. Dr. King talks about the beloved community. And what does that mean? How we embrace each other. The interconnectedness and the interbeing of all of us, regardless of our stripes.
And that's one of the things that really attracted me, to be honest, is the inclusiveness, of Buddhism. It doesn't discriminate. This property was bought in 2003 by the Vietnamese community. I don't know if they intended for it to be a monastery, but it was like a place for the Vietnamese community to get together. And most of the Vietnamese came here as boat people, as you know, from the Vietnamese War.
My parents, they are refugees from the Vietnam War. I grew up in Mississippi, not too far away from here, in Oxford, Mississippi. And the monastery was kind of formed or gathered by a group of Vietnamese families, like my parents and other families that wanted to have a community, a place where they can practice mindfulness and meditation together. And so we discovered this land here. We found this land, 118 acres, and we offered this land to Thich Nhat Hanh in the year 2005.
We had 3 monasteries in the U.S. The first one was Deer Park Monastery in Escondido, California. And then we also had Blue Cliff Monastery in New York. But here in Mississippi, around this area, they really wanted to have monastics to be here and having monastics to guide them in this area, so it is closer for them. So in 2010, the first group of 7 sisters came to Magnolia Grove. The name Magnolia Grove was from the lay people here because they say that around this area there are a lot of magnolia trees, so they wanted to name this place Magnolia Grove. Before it was Magnolia Village, but after that we changed it into Magnolia Grove Monastery or Magnolia Grove Mindfulness Practice Center. Yeah. So in our community, we practice mindfulness, and the teaching is not only from the talking, but we also consider the environment is also very important.
The teachings that they teach are just those things that you wish you knew in junior high school. Like if I would have only known all this stuff, like my life could have been so much better. Lots of times in Dharma sharing, there's always people who say, I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for these teachings. Just being mindful, learning all these concepts of love and compassion for themselves, compassion for others, have helped them to be much happier. And learning how to do that is what you learn here. You learn how to actually live your life instead of just have it be a blur.
There's a lot of kindness, and there's a lot of compassion for where other people have been and what other people are going through and what other people believe. It's the practice, it's not the belief that matters.
No, you don't have to be a Buddhist to practice here. You know, we have had retreats where the people who come here for retreats are Christians, but they can relate to the Buddhist principles because the Buddhist principles are not foreign. It's something that's innate in all of us.
Every Sunday we have Day of Mindfulness. So if anyone would like to come, just easily visit our website, magnoliagrovemonastery.org. We open year-round and we are very happy whenever we receive guests.
Thanks for joining us. If you like what you see, subscribe to Mississippi Public Broadcasting. Till next time, I'll be seeing you on Mississippi Roads.